welcome to our first live show. This is a bit of an experiment for us, working with the synchronicities of bringing everyone together and randomly asking everyone to ask us questions or share a story. Yeah.
So that's our plan for today. Be here and
Be here, connect everyone with everyone in our hearts.
mhm.
And so we're going to give, should we give everyone just a couple more minutes to join and see who else is going to come in?
Yeah, it sounds. We have here people in Zoom, right? So you can join us through Zoom if you want to ask us question and you want to be live. You
Yep.
can join us through Zoom. The link is there in Facebook, and I see we have people from Toronto. Hi, and Romania. We love you all very much. Thank you for being here.
So, how we sense this is going to work is if anyone wants to ask a question or share something that is perhaps maybe related to adventures into the heart, um, please raise your hand in Zoom. There's a raise hand function, and then we'll click a button that will send a request to you to unmute. And then we'll give everybody like maybe 10 minutes or so just to chat, depending on how many people join us. And that's it. So
I like the
anybody who wants
rooster.
to, what?
The rooster.
Yeah, well, it's still pretty early here in Kauai. I mean, the roosters are always going off. There are so many chickens. It's the land of the chickens and the roosters.
That's so nice. Very refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
So
So we have also people that are, in Facebook and they're, saying hello. So hello, everybody. And so if you're not on our Zoom and you want to ask a question or you want to share something, we will be watching Facebook as well. That's you see me looking down screen. So let us know from there as well.
yeah. And everyone's welcome to also type in questions into the chat boxes as well. If you don't want to be online live, that's all good too.
Oh.
It's I sent Sal the link and she's joining. Hello.
Yeah, but she's joining as Chris.
Yeah.
So hi.
Hello, family. How are you?
Hi.
Good. How are you doing?
Really, really good. Thank you.
You look like you're in a new space there.
I'm at my son's. That's why it's taken a little bit of trying to get internet connection and all that. So apologies
Good.
for that.
Yeah.
Sal, let
So
me
maybe
rename you.
Rename me, sure.
You're after Chris's name. You took Chris's
There's two
person.
Chris's.
yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Do we have anybody that wants to? So the idea of anything that you want to share, right? Anything you want to ask, anything that's going on in your life that you might feel that might, sometimes people feel supported when you hear that, I'm not alone, right? And it's all of us coming together, being, you know, uh, we are connected. So coming together and
Exactly.
supporting each other.
I'm actually really excited. I'm excited for the changes that are coming, and I am so excited to be a part of what is coming down the pipes. And I hope that everyone is using this Mercury retrograde to really bring in some fabulous new beginnings, or really vamping it up, and there's all sorts of meditations and ceremony going on. And I look forward to all of that. I think that it's so needed. And, there's less fear, I feel. I don't know. In my world right now, there's less fear and more excitement.
Mm. Yeah.
What are you feeling there, Chris?
It's there's more happening in dream time, I feel.
Mm,
Um there's um there's more synchronistic moments also for me here on the island. I just met recently, like Christmas time, a musician who featured in Junvalo's Serpent of Light book. He plays the Dig and different sound journeys. His name's John Dumas. And so we've been playing lots of music together and connecting with music more actually, which is super beautiful. So um, yeah, lots more synchronicities, more happening in dream time, um, and it's it's can be challenging, um, in terms of like some of the synchronicities that are coming up to the surface are, um, can be bringing us into conflict. You know,
mm,
like for me, perhaps some abrasiveness within the community in Kauai,
mm,
and it's really that perspective of you could see it as perhaps the story, who's right, who's wrong, who holds the truth here. But there's another perspective, which is, does that story really matter? And does the story just simply prolong divisiveness?
mm,
There's a point to which we have to look at those perspectives and sort of go, is this really serving a unified um, community, or a unified collective? So um, that's my sense of what's going on right now. And I think it's kind of reflected more broadly, not just at our Kauai community. It's kind of reflected politically and more globally right now.
mhm.
Oh, we have someone raising their hand.
Let's see.
Okay.
Rodica. Let's see. So
So just as a reminder for all of those who joined us, uh, we're going to ask anyone who wants to come on and ask us a question or share a story, just to raise your hand in Zoom, and um, and Radhika.
yeah, I've sent an invitation to unmute, but
Okay.
uh, I can translate. Oh, Daniel, thank you so much. So Daniel is here and ready if we have any Romanians that they need translation. Let's
Wonderful.
Okay.
see.
Great.
I think maybe it was a mistake.
No,
Okay,
raising hand
so
was a
as
mistake.
it's a good idea, as you've got the controls there, Agatha, that will continue the conversation, and then just let us know, jump in. Um, I have a really neat share. I know that um, people are really reaching new depths of their being right now. The stuff that hasn't been, dealt with, looked at, and refined, all of a sudden has come up again in a massive way. but very, very quickly, very similar to what Chris, you were sharing. All it needs is for an individual to look at it and acknowledge it and send it back to love and light. And it really, really, as you do that, questioning it, I think that's a key component of it. I know I've been going through a lot of things that are coming up in that regard as well. And Daniel has a question as well, Agatha?
Yes, so Daniel, if you speak, you're good.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, yes.
Oh, okay, good, perfect. Well, hi to everyone. Hi Sal, hi Chris, hi Agati, and everyone else. I think you pointed, both of you, Sal and Chris, I think you pointed out a few things that are happening, not only, let's say now or like this month or in the past year, but in general, maybe in the past years, we felt more and more there are like periods, I don't know, during the month or I don't know, just every week, or particularly I've seen that around, at least for me, around full moon, like 3 days before or after, things kind of start to, I don't know, I'm so happy, I'm doing well, with everything else. But then I mean, the past year was actually really great for me. But I have these moments when I'm happy, and then the next day is everything goes well, and the next day I feel this pressure, like what it's like this energy coming. It's like, hey, you need to, surface some, mud that you need to clean, and a lot of things are coming up, like from different kind of ways I've been used to do things, and I'm compulsive about it, and and I was like, oh, I thought I deal with this before, and it's cleaned, I've cleaned it last year, and I'm doing all this meditation and it should be okay. But no, I mean, but of course, I mean, in the past couple of years, I felt them like less and less, but they're still coming. I was like, why? And I was like so happy the other day, and and everything works. I mean, it just works fine. Like in general with life and everything that happens around me. But it's just like this periods, and also around like full moon, or and it's like. So I don't know if you want to comment more about it, and also in the dream time, as Chris said, I like in the past 4 days, I don't know if it's just my brain or things are happening, but I've been dreaming, and like a lot. Of course, I've been also quite aware of most of my dreams, which I think is good. But then they're like too many, maybe not kind of nightmares, but things that are not like, oh, why am I dreaming this? Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's my. And also, I don't know if you felt the same, and if you want to share any, I don't know, like how we can go through this period, and maybe how we can get at that point where all this either will be cleared, or we just gonna surpass all this influence of the moon, or just we go beyond.
Yes. Well, Daniel, I think you're doing a fabulous job, as long as you're witnessing what's coming up. And then I love some of the teachings that the School of the Heart has, as well as Chris, you might want to touch on this, but even the parts that are a little difficult and challenging, I would totally embrace that part of me as well, because that part of me needs some more love and some more light in order for that shifting to happen. And that would be my, really, not even trying to figure out where's that coming from, because does it really matter at this point? It doesn't. As far as I can see, as long as you've acknowledged it and then really sent a lot of love and understanding and compassion to whatever's coming up. And then you're able to, I know the old me would want to know why. Why is this coming up and where is it coming up from? It's like the mind needs to know, but the heart says it's okay. It's not necessary. Chris or Agatha, I don't know how you feel, but that's kind of my take on it.
Mhm.
So just for the rest of the audience, I believe the technique Daniel is talking about is a technique shared by our school teachings, which is reversing the energy of the past. Is that right? Yeah. So and we can, from my personal experience, um, I've noticed with both myself and my clients that the patterns of either habits or feelings like emotional loops or unpleasant feelings that arise, burdens, etc. Um, the patterns kind of have a point to which they're kind of, let's say, born from, like childhood or earlier, and the memories of those unpleasant feelings and pain and hurt and whatnot are sort of triggered by experiences we have later on in life. And as we're reversing those moments, the more time we spend reversing, we tend to reverse in, this is why our teachings is to reverse in a backwards order, because they're kind of, it's like layers of an onion. It's like the pain and the hurt and all those unpleasant emotions are kind of trapped in us in like this onion layer. And we're kind of releasing them from the outer sense, like from a time sense, the later ones first. And actually, when we come to the very core of it, the moment that that's done, that is truly reversed or healed, then the pattern doesn't show itself up anymore. The habit changes, or the addiction just falls away, or whatever it may be. That's been my sense of this work is, it's, yeah, and like Sal says, not necessarily the why. It's actually allowing ourselves to sink a little bit more into the feeling that might be a bit unpleasant, and let that feeling bring up a memory, the image, and whatever image comes, just let that come, let that flow, and then reverse it from that space. Go into the heart, reverse it, as opposed to, let's say, mentally questioning it or going into the mind, because yeah, that the mind does not heal. The mind doesn't forgive. In fact, if anything, it struggles to comprehend that, because it's like, why would I forgive someone who's dangerous, who has hurt me so much, who's a toxic person or whatever? It doesn't make any sense. The heart does. Yeah.
So the key, Daniel, is really, sitting with it and then going from there. But Agatha, I think you've got
I was
someone.
yeah, I was thinking, when Daniel was speaking, and it's the anticipation, right, of there is so many things and there is still things that are being cleaned, and I've cleaned so much. And I mean, when we're in the dark room, it's very interesting, right? So when we're in the dark room, there is no external stimulation, right? So it's just you and yourself. And then you have all these things that are coming up, that not because they're actually being triggered by something, but they're just there inside of you, right? Waiting for the right moment for them to show up. And sometimes it's actually surprising that, I don't know, a memory from maybe 20 years ago came up, that maybe you thought that, oh, but it was nothing. It was, I didn't keep it in me. However, it was still there. And I feel, or through my experience, there is always things that are going to come up. It never ends. Let me put it this way, because even if you cleansed something of the past, there are still things that are coming. every day there is new experiences, there are new events. However, what changes is our need to hold on to them, or the need to rationalize them, or the need to explain them. So the moment that we notice something is rising, right? Something that we don't like, something that makes us feel uncomfortable, you realize it makes you feel uncomfortable. You don't like it, right? And you just learn that, okay, it triggered something in me. What do I get from this? And you just let it go. And that's how, cleaning becomes easier, more conscious, more aware of yourself. It comes to a point where you've cleaned more, like most of the things that maybe you've been through your whole life. And yeah, but Daniel, I think we'll always have things. There's even the tiniest thing. So it shouldn't be something that should scare us, right? It shouldn't be something that we need to feel, it's highs or lows or whatever, because it's just about our perception and how we see things that makes them high or lows. So I guess that's my input in that. And I've seen we have questions in the chat. Mm-hmm.
Did you want me to read that out, Agatha, or did you want to?
Sure, Sal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Sandrine, it says, hi, Daniel. Hi, Agatha. Hi, everyone. I'm from France. Just wave your hand there so everyone can see who you are. Wonderful. I'm following you since I did the workshop with Daniel in Bordeaux in 2017. First, I want to thank you all that you do, and for especially the online meditation. I thank Ingrid that is doing some in French. I am not fluent in English, so I hope I won't use misunderstanding words. I can't go into my heart yet, and I know I'm not doing enough meditation, and it makes me sad because I had an experience I would like to share with you. In 2016, I had some blissed moment. My heart was singing and I could see blue rays coming from my heart and going into patient hearts. I was like a tremendous love energy. I was in total grateful state. This happened after I found the work and I wanted it in the town I wanted to go to. But I was also full of fear because I had to move on with my kids. I was divorcing and I had to choose between following my heart or following my fear, which is the mind. I must tell you, I knew nothing about the heart energy. And I must tell you nothing about the heart energy at that time. Unfortunately, I chose my fear and I eventually didn't take the job. This lasted 2 to 3 months and I lost this special state, but I always remember this feeling and I can't feel that anymore. Since I learned about Heart Imagery and Heart Math Institute and I understand better what happened to me during this period, I even feel angry or having resentments about myself because I have made the wrong choice and I feel like I've lost heavenly state of being. It seems to me I missed the train. Now it is going better for me and I hope and I wish that I could go into my heart soon. I observe the energy that is moving inside the exercise, even if I just imagine and visualize this energy. I have no particular question. I just wanted to share with you. Thank you, and thank you from France. And that is such a beautiful share. Agatha, did you want to tune into this one?
Sure. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, first of all. And recently I was talking with some people that shared something similar. So it's very interesting how I think all of us, right, have been in this special state of special moments, special states of consciousness, if you like. And then after some time, for every person it's a different time, we come back into, a third world reality. And I think this world is even harsher to be in once you had been in that state. So it takes a lot of cleaning, come back to cleaning, to be okay with it, to find yourself in it. I would say for me that's another experience. Any experience that we have, especially these deep transcendental experiences, they're always inside of us. So they never leave us, right? Sometimes they're more intense, and other times they just fade in the background, but they're always there. So your experience is always within you. It has already changed you, right? In so many different ways. You always carry that with you. And finding the balance again, right? In accepting that, this is where I am at this moment. Yes, I have been there, but this is the moment where I am. And continuing with your practice, with however it goes. Some days, meditation is better. Sometimes it's not that good. Any way it goes, but continuing with the practice, continuing, to strive for a better connection with oneness. It's our experience on the planet. It's our experience in these bodies. So loving ourselves, being compassionate with ourselves. And you never know, right? You never know where you're going to be, how you're going to be. So we and I think, and that's the making peace with that, making peace, doing our best, making peace, letting go, in order for us to be able to continue to flow. So if we hold on to whatever experience it was, if it was the best experience or it was a negative experience, it's just holding us there. So letting everything go and continuing on our path, and they will come again. You're going to have many more experiences, beautiful experiences. They're going to come.
Yeah. Beautiful. Paul has a question for us. How can one work with the coming Mercury retrograde at this time for the best outcomes? Mercury rules, I believe, the mind, right? And our school's teachings it's how do we exit the mind and get into the heart? From my personal experience, it has been, I spent months trying to stay in my heart as long as possible. And I actually meant to slow everything down, and including my mind as well. And after some time of being able to just stay there all the time, I could slowly bring the mind back. And instead of having the mind logically dictate everything, and I was working in a finance job then, so I was doing numbers. I was working with a lot of numbers. I found that my intuition, it was like my mind was kind of translating my heart rather than leading me around. And so my sense is to continue just simply with the practices of being in the heart more, and then taking back control so that the mind kind of becomes an interpreter of the heart rather than a controller of everything. And so perhaps should we lead a very short meditation as like a
I think that maybe, we continue with the questions and answers. And if we feel like we're not getting, then we can definitely go into meditation, just because I think the expectations were set for sharing and for asking any questions that were burning and needing answering. But I would like to chime into Paul's question when you're done as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it can be difficult though. Like our school has teachings of getting into the heart in meditation very quickly, like this the spiral staircase down and boom, you're there. My sense is the real difficulty in getting there is sometimes that we almost don't want to. Like there's this resistance that we have to getting there. And actually it's to sit, for me, it's to sit with that resistance, if there is a resistance. It's not about why there's resistance. It's like, let's just sit with that. And often it can be one of agitation. Like it can be an energy that's like really agitating us, frustrating, annoyance, some fieriness to it. And I find that actually, like, let's say moving my body rather than sitting in one spot helps with that agitation. And then I can come back into that space.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I know for myself, Paul, just to kind of reflect on, what would I do during Mercury retrograde is definitely, if you have a practice, this is the time for practice. So whatever that may be, whether it's meditation, yoga, going into nature, and then, the mind comes in obviously during Mercury retrograde. And I hate to say this, but I think Mercury retrograde has always happened, will always happen. We just need to stop giving it a bad, rep for the cause of everything that's happening in our lives. It's always been, it always will be. And so for myself, I think it's really important to don't get prepared for the worst. So now you have expectations for something that is going to be challenging, uncomfortable, something that needs to be dealt with, rather than looking at and getting prepared from that, just saying, okay, I'm going to make sure that I keep doing the practice because the practice is going to help. The second thing I would do, Paul, is I would really, the mind is great for looking something to stick to. And be aware of that. The only way that you release that sticking with the mind is not to just become an observer, but actually to question it. Because the minute you question it, then the mind's kind of starts to slow down because it needs to do what it's best at, which is analyze or whatever that may be. And so that is something that I would do. And if you have the ability, and if there is something in your community, that can take place where you come into a circle in your community, be it meditation, be it whatever, ceremony of some sort, a cacao ceremony, it would be a beautiful way of really generating an upliftment for everyone. And now you're multiplying it. It's the multiplier, effect that will happen by you just doing your thing. But now let's see if you can include others. And all of a sudden, it's going to make a bigger difference faster. So that's something that I just wanted to share. I hope.
Yeah, and I think it is a great time to go inwards.
Yes.
It's a really good time to go inwards. Yeah. So Andrea has I hope I pronounced your name right. You've raised your hand. I hope it's to ask a question. Let's yeah. Hi.
Hi, I have a 2-year-old with me, so if you hear her, just enjoy. if it's possible, I would love to share 3 things. I'll try to be very short. The first thing is that since last year, actually since I did the ATIH in April, my life has shifted completely like I want to. Thank you so much, Daniel and Agati, for this. The next thing is I've seen in my life more femininity, more women coming in my life, and we started gathering and doing things together and supporting each other more and more. Okay, and regarding practicing and the mind, I have 2 different experiences. Both me and my husband did the ATIH. Me in April, opened myself, and then I worked with him, and he did it in autumn, I think. And there are 2 different things. I experienced that he's going inside his heart. Things are happening inside him, but he's not aware of them. So I can see, I say that I can see with my heart because I don't think I can see with my eyes, but somehow I see the images. And I can see he's going there. I can see he's going through all this. And he says he doesn't feel anything. So my encouragement to everyone who is going through, especially men who are going through similar experiences, is just that do it. Just do it, and sorry, this way. And trust yourselves and trust the process, trust the practices, trust your teachers, because it's happening even if you are not aware of it. And like you said, Agati, thank you so much for sharing that once you get through an experience, it stays with you. This is such a big encouragement today, because like I think Daniel, the other Daniel shared today, I've been going through a lot of stuff too. I mean, I've cleansed for the last 4 years. I've been working through different practices and the school of the heart as much as possible, staying in my heart as much as possible. Sorry. But I still have a lot of challenges these days, because I think something is coming up like, okay, Andrea, clean more, clean more, clean more. Yeah, so this question would be, how do other people who don't know the practices of the heart, how can they, hearing all the things going, here's the thing, I have family and friends who are aware of what is going on, and they hear all these things happening and they see the truth, and it's disheartening. You're looking at, oh my gosh, what is going on, what do I do next? I know we've been through the workshop in December, but they didn't. So for these people, how can we support other people who don't know these practices? This is what I would love to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
That's a question for you, Agathi, and that's a beautiful question, and thank you for that. I think that was a great share, and you kept it so real. I commend you for your patience with a 2-year-old. Chris, do you agree with that one?
Well, my baby's just 13 months, so not running around yet. Yeah.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
I would say that so for sure, I do find that the first part, in a sense of, men and women go through maybe different experiences. I guess that we have different processes. We might even have like similar experiences. We just express them differently, or we perceive them differently, right? So, and that's where our need for judging needs to be paused, if you like, in a sense of, why does my experience need to be like somebody else's experience? And it doesn't. Everybody has their own experience. So the moment we let go of the idea of how it needs to be, or if it's correct, that's the other thing, right? Like, is my experience right? There is no wrong experience. It's your experience. Anything that comes through, any workshop, any meditation, any exercise, it's your experience. the moment we judge that experience or compare it, right, which is a form of judgment, then it's we do it a disservice. So flowing through it, whatever it is, however it comes, and trusting the experience that it will unfold the way that it does. And for the question, what do we do, when people are going through this but they haven't found the way? I think that whatever is going on today in the world has brought a lot of people to start searching within. And the best thing for us, maybe that we have been, longer on this journey of self-exploration and figuring out who we are and our connection with oneness, is to support, to listen. Listening is so important, right? Listening to somebody, just, most of the time people just want to be heard, just want to feel that there is somebody next to them that can actually hear them, listen to them. That is a way of releasing. And then if you have a practice that worked for you, that you found, oh my God, this was life-changing, share it. Let them choose if they want to try it or not, right? It's a way for them to focus on inner, right, than outer world. The outer world will always change. Today it's a pandemic, tomorrow it's something else. It will continue as it has always been. So how do I find, right, peace? It's within. How do I find love? It's within. How do I find oneness? It's within. So the moment people start asking questions, what can I do? How can I get out of this, third world fear that's going on? It means that they've already opened the door or the window or a small part there that they're looking for. So they're looking for your experience, what you like, what you feel has influenced your life in a positive, peaceful way. And I know that, sure, Chris and Sal have some things to add on that as well.
Yeah, well, I can speak to the experience of the male, or in particular the stoic man, the one who believes that to be strong means to not feel, to not cry, to be emotionless, to be non-expressive, to be not feeling, to just get on with the job, to just do what needs to be done. That stoic man was once me. And we lock ourselves out of feeling. And in this day and age, especially with what's happening right now, it's almost impossible to lock yourself out of feeling. I mean, it's the disruptions that are going on right now. It's taking us back to that space. And um, there is a habit that we have that's not just our own, it's from our parents, who went through war, who needed to be numb, to non-feelingless, to survive, to deal with that, the tragedies there. And generationally, there's needed to be a strength held by the masculine that's been taught to the sons to be strong. And when we begin to initiate that reconnection with the heart, and the changes are happening within us, we're not necessarily aware of that because we're not seeing it. We don't know what is actually happening, and it's a sense of confusion actually. And so generally the stoic man, in a state of confusion, doesn't like to own up to being confused or perplexed. They just want to say, oh, nothing's happening, everything's fine, I'm good, it's all good here. As opposed to, getting a little bit more vulnerable and honest and going, I'm actually a bit confused as to what's happening, or perhaps this is challenging, such a difference here. And we are all ready when we're ready. Um, like the door, opening the door. We're ready when we're ready to open it. And when we have a window that's sort of saying, "Oh, what do you do in these challenging times?" Or what was your experience, right? That's a window. That's a big window because those questions have never been asked before. And in our sharing of this work of going inside, someone either resonates or they don't. And if they resonate, that's they're right. They're at the right moment in that stage for themselves of that life to receive, to really receive, to open their heart up further. So you have a window they're looking through now. They're like, oh, I like what I see. Let's open the door. Okay, this looks okay. Let's walk through it now, and this is the process. It's the new door that they're opening, and we're all going through that. And it is most certainly difficult um, interacting with people who are not heart-centered, um, for sure. That doesn't get any easier. In fact, it's very painful. Like I reminisce with my daughter who's banging a, a drum over there. When she encounters someone who's not heart-centered, she's actually, I can feel her pain because she's feeling the pain of the other person. And so her crying around certain people who are very not heart-centered and have a lot of trapped trauma, it's not that she's playing up. She's just resonating with their pain. And it's very painful. And, I guess that this is why we're here sharing also with all of you and teaching this, because we do realize the powers of these practices, but we also realize that we can't push that. We can only teach where there is someone who is wanting to receive. And so yeah, that's a really powerful story to just share and say, hey, like there are men out there who are doing these practices, who are doing the meditation and thinking, but nothing's happening, and other people around them are going, there's a lot happening. You're not feeling it, right? To just persevere with the tools. If other people are saying this and they're noticing shifts, the likelihood is there is a shift. There is something going on.
And no one's going to be left behind. I think one of the other key factors to that is, in the spiritual circles that I have traveled, you have to really be aware of where you are. Of course, you're loving what you're doing. You're feeling that you are where you're at, and you want everyone to feel what you feel, and you want everyone to be with you where you're at. And the thing is that they're perfect where they're at. And it took them great courage to just be where they're at, which in your eyes may not be where you're at. And then the other thing that I think is really, really important is there's this misunderstanding about, oh, you're on the spiritual path and all of a sudden you're special. Really tune in to where you're coming from, because sometimes, just sometimes, you have to give yourself that reality check. Everyone's special. Everyone, wherever they are at, is special. And in time, they will make it to whatever level they're supposed to in this lifetime. And what you hold near and dear in your heart is really what really matters, because you're not doing the work just for yourself. You're doing the work for the many, right? And so in you doing your work and your practice, when you're really stuck in what else can I do to allow for this person to experience this beautiful blissed out state or whatever it may be, just remember, they are perfect where they're at. And in you doing your work, you're bringing heaven to earth. You're already doing that. And as that door and that window of opportunity that Agatha and Chris have spoken about, all of a sudden you'll see they'll make up for, it took me, 50 years of doing this practice. Well, in the future, it's not going to take 50 days. It's not even going to take 5 days. It could happen like this. So, yeah, I think that's something to just kind of be aware of. And I know that I've checked myself, wanting to give something to someone that I feel is important and beautiful, and I want them to join me. But where they're at is what is needed for them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We have, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, we've got Lumnita, and she's saying, for people 15 to 18 years old, we need training specific for this age. Daniel and Agatha in Romania, you have this training planned? If you want to answer that one.
Nice. I know it's like everything is it's something that was already, I don't know, the last couple of weeks we've talked about this stuff. So it's very funny when the questions are coming in and it's like, oh, somebody asked me 2 weeks ago about it. And I was talking actually with a very young girl about a program that for teenagers, right? And how hard or how much support, right, teenagers need to, in a way of finding guidance, right, through whatever is going on. And so one of the things that we have already is we have the Intuitive Child program that is it's an on-demand program. It lives on our membership site, and it is designed for children or teenagers, right, of different age. So there are practices there, and there are heart imagery exercises. There are beautiful practices that myself, Rossi, that has been working with children for a very long time, and Daniel put together. So that's a wonderful program. I hope that we'll have more, maybe more specialized programs, maybe done in a different way for specific ages, like for teenagers or even younger children. And of course, I hope that we'll be able to have it in Romania as well. I look forward to being in Romania again soon. So, but yeah, I think that we need to share with our children the wisdom that we have found in our lives after a long search and long, how do you say, checking out all these, information that we're not needed, right? So like the veils that we have unveiled in our lives, and sharing that so they could actually see, if you like, a purpose for being there, the beauty of this experience. Because I think we have not shown this to our children. I think our children don't know how beautiful of an experience is to be in this body and experience life. So the School of the Heart is ready to share these and to create more and more, of course, with everybody who's here with us, right?
Now I have a question for you as well, Agatha. We had such incredible, beautiful meditations and activations that Daniel had shared with the community in December, going and moving into January of 2020. Some of them were so incredibly powerful. And of course, I joined in those particular activations and meditations at the time, because he was doing them over a period of a week or whatever. And then he would say, okay, practice this one for the next 2 weeks, practice this one for, those were so, so, so powerful. And so my question is, for if not already, if we can have something like that for the community, for, you know, for spring or even for February. I don't know how long it took to actually film him doing the different activations, but I think that would be really, really incredible, because I really enjoyed that, and they were very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a possibility? I guess.
Of course, I mean, everything is a possibility, but I have to say that it has been something that we would love to bring a more like a longer program, or maybe in a different way that that is shorter, but then it's on a longer period of time, and it's an ongoing process, because I think that's what we need today, in a way of supporting each other, coming back into this space, and not the, I mean, the workshops are very nice, but I think we also need to continue with something, so you have something to practice for, if you like, and keeps you in check, and progress. So yes, it's something that I would love to bring, and I know Niall would love to bring it as well, and we'll just have to figure out the logistics of it and share it with everybody for sure.
Or even just put up last year's again, you know, so that people that are in the Facebook group can incorporate some of these daily practices of movement and meditation, and bringing that into alignment into their daily life and daily practice. I think that would, I really enjoyed that last year, and I just wanted to put that out there, that teachers are looking for it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this
I
is,
wonder, it's been, yeah, we've been on for an hour now. And
okay, so so I guess I think it would be really nice if we can say a couple of words in closing from each of us. I think that would be really, really a good way of closing for this last couple of minutes that we have. Chris, did you want to start, and then I'll go, and maybe Agatha, you can top it up there.
Yeah, I think well, thank you everyone for joining. We hope to do another one soon. Um and I guess what I'd want to perhaps close with is just um you know, I'm seeing a lot of divisiveness around the world right now, and a lot of stories shared by the news and people and things around the pandemic and fear and a lot of different things that try and draw us in to the story, and try and engage with. Imagine if we could do this instead of engaging with that story, just close our eyes and do a short meditation. Um, I would say that that would quite significantly change um, how we feel day to day. That would be my invitation to everyone listening.
Thank you. That's beautiful, Chris. And I think mine is in tune with you know, your parting words, and that is that fill yourself up with so much love that it just flows and flows and flows and flows. That's the biggest thing that we can do for one another. And don't forget, you're never alone. We're all in this together. Agatha?
I wanna thank everybody for being here and for sharing, for asking questions, for having this dialogue. I think it's so important that uh, we connect in the many different ways, right? That we are connected. I feel that this is a moment in time that we are all ready for, that we only need to remember that inside of us, we know who we are, we know how to get through this, and not how just to get through it, but to grow, to flower, right? In anything that's going on. And there is always a huge community on this planet that is ready to support each and every one of us, right? So we are all together, as Sal said. We're all together, we're all holding hands. And we just need to be able to see this image in our hearts. And let's all create a beautiful future, a beautiful planet from our hearts. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, everyone. We love you.
We love you.